Hi everyone, can you hear me? Let me know when you're here, say hi. How's everybody? The weather's crazy all over the country, I know. So hopefully you're safe and things are good. And I've had a plate on I have the Glimmer hot foil machine on. We'll zoom out just a little bit. So I'm going to take this off. It's over here to the side. We'll move all this stuff over. I pulled out some things that I bought from Pink Fresh Studio a while back, and I'm just a little bit busy, as some of you might know. Look at me trying to pull this off now. As some of you might know, it's just a little crazy around the Thompson household. We're in full planning, prepping, ordering, you name it, it's going on here at the Thompson house. And on top of that, I accepted a lot of design team work. I don't know what I was thinking. And so it has just been a little nuts. So, ooh, look what I just pulled off. I had this left over from this. Look at that. And if people think they can't hot foil on colored cardstock, that's about the best job I've ever done. And that was the first time trying with this gorgeous Pink Fresh Studio stamping, hot foil stamping plate. And that is stunning. I love that. So this was the other piece. I'm going to move this over. Here's the plate that I did this with, and look at it. And there's no overfoiling. There's not one tiny spot that I can see that didn't come out perfectly with that. Oh my word. I know, Wendy Jean, it's fantastic. And that's the plate. And that is called, this whole collection, I've had it for a while, it's called Songbirds and Branches. And one of the design team for Pink Fresh Studio did this card in reds with maybe some yellows. It was breathtaking. And it was the whole reason that I had to order this set. And I know you guys do the same thing sometimes. So today, I'll be honest, I was running around. I had a doctor's appointment. I had to run lots of errands. And I didn't even make it into the craft room until about 6:30. My time, which was a half an hour ago. So I just thought, what can we do? And there have been a couple of ideas on my mind. And so I thought maybe just for tonight, I'd go on and I'd talk about some of my favorite tips on how to take your cards to really that next level. What makes sometimes some of these design team cards so fantastic? And the number one tip I always give people is sometimes I think we try to do too much and it just ends up getting all mucked up. So number one, that first time you think, should I do something more? Probably stop at that point. Okay? So that's my first tip. But let's just oogle this for just a second. I mean, seriously, come on. I love it. So there's that. Now, I just pulled this off. This is the negative foil, and you know Pink Fresh Studio has the solid plate. Let me pull it over. It's hot, but I don't have it plugged in. I have it on the magnet. It's heavy. See that solid plate? If you haven't seen that yet, you can take your negative foil after you've already sent it through the Glimmer machine once and put it on the hot foil plate. And then look what happens. Oh, it's stunning. Look at that. You don't need to do anything else to this. I mean, put a sentiment on it. Maybe put a little ribbon or some embellishments and put it just on a white card base. You know, maybe cut a fancy die frame out of it. And you've got a beautiful, beautiful card. And you didn't have to do much. Now, here's another trick. If you wanted to, I don't know that I would want to, but if you did, you know you can ink blend over top of this and make all of this white space a different color, right? Hi, Anne. How are you? If you wanted to make that a different color, you could. It's up to you. I don't know that I would, but what a pretty like wedding or engagement or anniversary card that would make. So easy. You could even make an eclipse card and cut like a sentiment out of here. You know, when you cut it out and then you pop it up on the same card back. That's called an eclipse card. Those are fantastic too. That's another kind of go-to trick for designers. So look how pretty those are. Here's the positive. Came out perfectly on that colored cardstock. Yes, it did. And then the negative. 2 cards out of 1 piece of foil, and it would have taken, like if we'd done it all in one shot, 5 minutes. Boom. Gorgeous, don't you think? I love that. So here's one that we have. Now let's do this on white. Let's do another one on white, just for grins, and see what we want to do with it. So I have some Hammermill white cardstock. I think it's 100 pound. I'm going to move this over so you can see this again. There's my teal cardstock, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure what company that's from. Probably Gina K, because you know that's my go-to. Let's plug this in. Let's move this plate out of the way, and we'll put the Songbirds and Branches back on here. And I have now started, because your platform is bigger than your normal A2 card size. So I've started being a little bit more particular about where I place my plates and things, knowing where it is exactly located on here makes it easier to remember, because sometimes I found I was getting my card stock off kilter a little bit, because you know, once you put it down, you can't see where your plate is. So when I line it up right in the lines that are here, on the glimmer, then I know where to put the foil and the paper. And I will say, the foil, when you put it down on the glimmer, if you've played with one before, you know it kind of, as soon as it heats up, it kind of lays more limp on the hot foil stamp, and it's easier to see where the plate is. You can also use the hinge method. Yana Smakula has several videos using the hinge method. I have not made one yet, but hers are pretty much the best. So go watch Yana. And I will tend to put this edge right towards the top here, so I know about where the top is and to put my paper. And then I can gently kind of feel before my fingers burn off about where the plate is, just to be sure. Like that. And I lay mine on. Oh, we're still waiting for the green light to come on over here. Okay, we're still waiting for this green light. I'm going to go ahead and put my plates on, just because it does curl just a little bit as it heats up, and so I want to get my plates on there. And then I'm going to run it through my little spell binders. I'll probably pull it over so that we can see it. But let's do this one in white. And then I want to do some ink blending over it and talk about maybe a couple of other tricks. And you can decide which tricks you like and maybe you might want to try. I've got some Altenew ink colors here also. Some of my favorite teals. Okay, our green light's on. Let's hit the timer and let it time, and then we'll put it through this cute little Spellbinders machine. What's everybody working on this week? I had the March Mindfulness Retreat for Altenew. I was one of the instructors on Saturday. It was fantastic. I had so much fun. I was very humbled. The group that I taught with, we had Nicole Spohr, Mindy Egan, Christina Warner, and I forget the Miriam. I want to say Perez. I hope I'm not wrong. She was the last one, and she went right after me, and I was so exhausted I didn't get to stay and watch hers. But we had a great time. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Anne says it's the best for foiling. CP, I have to tell you, Anne, I like CP and Hammermill equally on the Glimmer machine. I personally don't see any difference. CP's cardstock is so smooth and, pulled that one hard. I'll be honest, I don't see much of a difference between CP and Hammermill. Everybody raves and raves and raves about Hammermill, but I personally think that CP's is just as good for hot foiling as Hammermill. But I'm glad you found one that worked for you. I would go back and forth. I have CP paper in my drawer. I just don't have any cut right now. If I had some, in all honesty, I'd be using that if it were right in front of me. Because that's how much I like it also. Okay, so let's pull this off. And are you ready? Now, I see I did not get this centered exactly. You see it came off here, which is sometimes the problem. You have to be, we might have to do it again because it's very difficult to line things up and make sure you get it where you want it. Look how pretty. And I definitely want these songbirds. I want to be able to cut those out. Look how pretty that is. Oh, Wendy Jean's been making cards for kindness. That's awesome. What's Cards for Kindness? I'm assuming it's like a charity giveaway. Look at that. No overfoiling, no problems whatsoever. Oh my gosh. Now let's do this one more time and try to get it right so that we have it in the right spot. I'm going to move the plate up a little bit so that I know it's right here, kind of at the edge. And that might help me get my paper lined up. It's never a perfect thing. In all honesty, I was hot foiling yesterday or the day before for creating a Spellbinders card. And you guys, nobody, I tell you what, it was one just mess up after another, I have to tell you. I just had to laugh after a minute. I think one, I was trying to do an image twice. So one I put one way and the second one I ran it through the other way. So it was like silver side on one and then hot pink on the other, the back of the foil. So that was a mess. And another one, I think I hot foiled the die or the stamping plate. I think this one might be a little bit better this time. Okay, let's get these plates on and see how this one goes. Cross your fingers, say a prayer. Our platform is ready. Let's hit the timer. We'll try this again. So let's see. I'm going to wait for this timer to stop blinking, and then hopefully this one will come out all right, and we'll do some ink blending on it. There are layering stencils to go with this set. Here we go. Timer's done. Let's try this again. Sometimes I have to pull hard. Oh. Why does it seem like some days it's easier and some days it's harder? And I try to be very careful because it's going to move and I don't want to mess it up, right? Okay, and I kind of go at a medium speed. Not too fast, but I don't run it through twice. I have to tell you, I know a lot of people will run it through twice. I found if I run it through twice, I mess it up and I get like a double image. So I totally was not good at that. So I stopped trying to do that very quickly. Okay, let's see how I think I got this one fully on the page. Look at that, I did. That's fantastic. Now I'll tell you on this one, you guys probably can't even see it. I have just a little bit of overfoiling right there and a tiny bit right there and there. No one else is ever going to see it. Or if you have a little eraser, you could erase that. No big deal. I love my little pencil erasers that I have for that. So we got the whole image there. That's perfect. So I'm going to turn this off, the foiling machine, and get it out of the way. And let's work on inking this up. Now y'all know you can ink blend right over this foil, right? We've talked about that many, many times. So if you haven't tried it, try it because it's life-changing. So Here's our paper. Let's zoom in and let's get our layered stencils right here. These are, and I haven't used these yet, so don't get mad at me if I mess it up. This is the Songbirds and Branches layered stencils. Let's take a peek at it so that we know what we're doing and I don't look like a fool. Okay. There are no directions in here, so we're going to wing it. Let me get my stencil mat. If you know me, I love my stencil mat. Like, seriously love my stencil mat. I've been using it a lot lately. So let's put this right here. It needs to be cleaned. I can feel it moving on my desk and it shouldn't. It's because I need to clean it. Okay, we have stencil 1, 2, 3, and 4. This should just lay right over. And I don't know if you've ever used Pink Fresh layered stencils, but look, there's a corner right here and a corner right here. Your cardstock should fit, A2 cardstock should fit right in that corner perfectly. And if we just maneuver it just a little bit, you'll see. And because I don't have it, when I put it in the machine, obviously I couldn't get it exactly straight. So mine's going to look a little crooked from how I just told you it should be, because it was, I did it wonky in the machine. But that's okay. All you have to do is layer everything up. It's perfect. I mean, it's very simple to see where it works. Now, I'm trying to think if I want to do something crazy or not. No, let's just go with the basics right now. Wendy Jean says she loves hers too. No one will be mad at me. Thanks, Ann. I hope not. They just won't come watch me anymore, right? So I'm going to, we have a lot of greenery here, and I want to use some kind of non-traditional colors. So I might do my birds in pink, and we know our background, I'm probably going to try to use the teal background. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. So I'm going to do my leaves in a bright blue. Let's see how this goes. Give me a second to pull out my swatches. I forget what other colors go with these Altenew blues. I had these out, and so that's what we're going with. I have, what is this one? This is Ultramarine and Azurite. So it's these. It's this set. The Lapis Lazuli, I love it. So I need Iceberg and Eastern Sky to go with it. Let's start with Eastern Sky. Like I said, I didn't do any planning ahead of time, so I'm sorry. I'm winging this one. We'll see what we think. So let's start with Eastern Sky. There's the lighter color that I did not find quickly. So since I didn't even pull it, we'll go with this. Here's the ink lid. I really want to soak up my brush because I know there's other ink on there. I didn't clean it off first. So let's go off and then gently give these a wash of color. If some stay more white, I'm okay with that. If I tape this down, it wouldn't be moving either. Now, you guys know, if you watch me enough, I'm kind of crazy for these layered stencils. So that was one. Hi, Donna. How are you? Okay, here's number 2. This is... Now, if you see, this is probably, oh, this is for these other little parts and the branches. But obviously, we've got our branches taken care of already because they're already gold. So let's add in some of this ultramarine, see what we think. We might want to make it even darker. Some of these are going to be darker than others, and it's fine. But look how easy these, if you don't use layered stencils, I have to tell you, they make our life so much easier. They really do. Look how pretty. Oh, I love this. So pretty. Now, those are going to be inky, so set those aside so that you don't get ink other places. This is for our birds. I want to do our birds in pinks. So some of my favorite pinks from Altenew are the Cherry Blossom set. So this is for the main part of the bird. Let's see where we're going here. This is for his body and his beaks and some of these flowers. Do you see the little flowers? Let's combine, and then we've got one more stencil for the bird. So let's do a little bit of tricky ink blending. Now, let's use one of these mini ink blenders. I love these little mini ink blenders. Let's see what colors I've already got on there. Some pinks. Let's use baby pink first. I always go off and then on just a little bit. And then we can, because we have so much control, I can take this in. Let's zoom in just a little bit more. I can take it just in certain places, a little bit darker, even before we add any other shading. So we have even more dimension. And you know, as your ink dries, you're going to have some fade back. It'll soften, it'll lighten, and that's okay. So it doesn't hurt to go in with a little bit heavier hand initially. Look how pretty. Let's move this up just a little bit. Doesn't that look good? Love it. Now let's go in and be really bold. Let's add some really dramatic ink blending. I think Pretty Birds. Oh, okay. Let's get some pretty colors in here. And this is the magenta. Always take some off. It's going to be really bright. So start with a light hand and then get a little heavier. And maybe even along, can you see how that edge is a little bit darker? And then in through here, let's make this just a little bit darker. You can always go back into this wet ink, especially if you have a stencil mat. It'll stay wet. I can go really dark right there on his neck. Can you see that? How pretty is that? So pretty. And then look, I can pick more ink up. Because it's still wet there. We have these little spots on the flowers. Go in real heavy with those. This last stencil was easy, right? Are we ready? Look how pretty. Ta-da! Look how pretty that is. So pretty. I love that one. Okay. So we've used all 4 stencils. That was so easy. Pinkfresh, I love how they make it so easy on us, right? That was stencil 3. Now look. Then they have this die. And you know, it's been a while since I've given some Pinkfresh some love. And I have to tell you, every time I come back to it, I'm like, they're genius because they have these one-piece dies that make our lives so easy. Look, it's just going to lay right over this. It's going to cut this whole beautiful thing out. One shot. Okay, I'm going to turn around and cut this on the die machine. Hi, Sue. How are you? So it's pretty exciting. So Alex Siberia, here's a little hint for you, is going to be our very first workshop at the retreat. I'm having some problems. Things are sticking a little bit. So let's get this popped out. Let's see what we can do here. And so a couple weeks ago, I went to Rich and I said, would you build me some shelves out in the garage for the Nashville Craft Retreat stuff? And then we could get most of it. I don't want to. They went out and they put these awesome shelves up. And so Gabe and I were carrying out. I now sort all of the embellishments, all of the sequins and things like that. And I create my mixes in these like Sterilite shoe boxes, plastic shoe boxes. They take up almost a whole shelf. And well, really 2 shelves. And Rich came out and he looked at it and he said, do you know what they call that? And I started laughing and I said, an addiction? And I think he just shook his head and walked away. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. So funny. Look what we've got. Let's put this here so you can see it. That one die. Look at this. Cut all of these beautiful pieces out. Look at this. I mean, seriously. And even this little, there's even this little piece that gets popped out. How pretty is that? Now, let me tell you, here's another trick. Well, first of all, we should have buffed off some of the ink off of some of that gold foil. I know, Sue, Paint Fresh Studio, they're genius. I mean, they really are. Okay, the only thing is this one got cut off. I don't know how or why, but that's okay. And then we have these other little pieces. Now, we could put this on a white card and it would be beautiful. Here's my designer tip that really takes this. If I did it one way and then did it the other way and showed you, night and day difference. Takes it from like amateur, like base level card to over the moon. Pop this up. Either cut more die cuts and glue them all together to pop it up, or put foam tape behind this, because it just, by automatically adding foam or dimension, it takes it to a whole other level. Okay. Something else you could do is take this, put it on acetate, and make a shaker behind it. How pretty would that be? You could do a slimline card, a mini slimline card. Now, here's another trick I'll show you. This one, I was thinking it would go on this color palette, but I don't know how much I will like it on this. Let's do it on black. Black would be pretty. Let me get. And I'm not going to cut it out with a pretty die, just because I don't have one out. I want to show, I'm more worried about showing you the trick. And then you can put it together on a pretty card. Yes, I like multiple layers also. Multiple layers and gluing them together is something I think more and more people are doing. It just makes the dimension, gives it lots of support. It looks nice. It just takes a little bit more time in gluing all of the layers together. Now, this would be prettier, like I said, if we die cut it. Before I do the one thing with this, watch. Let's take, here's the background stamp. If I had the embossing machine on, I would do the hot foiling, but since I don't, let's do this with some embossing powder. So I'm going to take this and let's emboss our background. Like I said, I would have done it on foil if I'd known that I wanted a different color than the teal. Teal was a little much for me, but gold I know will be pretty. So let's do this. And on this one, I'll go ahead and do it. Some of their stamps, have you seen some of their background stamps now? Pieces will pop out. and you can stamp individual pieces. Honestly, if this one did that, I would do that and just do the flowers and the vines. I can't do that on this one, but that's okay. Let's just see if we like this. It'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I'm pulling out my Wow embossing pad. Okay. Going to give this black cardstock just a little bit of anti-static. Let's get some, Wow has a brand new, beautiful, really shiny metallic gold. It is called Polished Gold. Polished Gold. And look, very shiny. Let's use this because it'll be similar to the hot foiling look. And when I put it in my MISTI, if I don't think the ink is wet enough for the embossing, obviously I know I can stamp it again. That looks pretty good. Let's do this two ways. I want you to see this, and well, we'll do it this way first. And then if we don't like it, I'll do my other idea, which is just to use a clear, so you just have a little idea of the embossed image on the back, but you don't have necessarily a color or anything like that. It would just be almost more for interest and texture in the background. Okay. And I have to tell you, I think someone in my family borrowed my craft tweezers, and I don't have my reverse tweezers, which are my absolute favorite, and I can't find them. And I can't even find the cheap tweezers now, so I'm not very happy. So we'll try not to burn my fingers or mess up our embossing. Okay, let's get this embossed. I'll hold it at one end. Oh, let me plug this in. That was no fun. So, let's get this going. Watch how pretty this embossing powder is. Can you see it? Look how shiny and beautiful it is. Come on. Look at that. Oh my. Can you look how pretty? I know, Donna. There's a lot of money in these tools, that's for sure. So now I need to go, I'm going to order like 2 or 3 pairs of, because I love my reverse tweezers. Okay, look how pretty that is. Now, here's the trick. We could put this on here and layer it up, right? Let's see which way these go. This one's supposed to go this way, right? But you're going to have the white space, right? So I don't know if you've seen anybody do this, but take a black marker, like a black Copic, black alcohol ink marker, and the alcohol ink also will not bother the foiling. I'm using a white piece behind it. So you can hide this edge. Well, first of all, this one cuts out. But you can go over any white edges on any flower, any kind of stamped image. If you do not want the white edge to show, you can. And I don't know that you'll really be able to see it on this one. And this one cut pretty close. So it's not going to be as dramatic. But you can take your marker and with an even hand, go over the white spots and along the edges if you want the white to completely go away. You can even trace along on the paper if you don't trust yourself to have an even edge. Can you see that? Let me zoom in. Now watch, I'll try to go from the side. It just depends on how much work you want to put in there. But if you don't want that white edge on a black background or even on a colored background, you could take any coordinating Copic marker color or alcohol ink marker color and go over those edges. And then I would take it and I even go along the edge like this. Use the side of the marker. Christina Warner taught me this years ago. Go along the edge so that there's no white. And you do that also if you fussy cut. Do you see that? Now, this may not be for you. You might think, well, that's a lot of work. And, you know, for not a lot of wow. But if you see a card that they do this a lot, Yana Smakula does this quite a bit. She'll color her white edges with a coordinating marker color. And once you see the finished card, it's like, wow. How sometimes, you know, at first, before you know the trick, you might think, how did she do that? What did she do? How could she color on black cardstock? How could she get that image like that? Well, what she did was she colored on white cardstock and then she outlined the image to match the color of her cardstock. And lots of times you'll see people do it in black. So that's what it looks like. So it's got the black edge over here. And then look, if we put it on the black cardstock, then it blends in more. See the difference between the white up here and the black down here? And like I said, without it all being done, you might not notice the difference. But if it were all done, it would make a difference. Linda says she thinks it makes a huge difference. I do too. And when you see a card completely finished, you get it. So like if we wanted to go over these lines, now I wouldn't. I would almost set this, or maybe you just do the birds and do him there and do the other one right here. Or maybe you don't use this as your background and you use just like a textured cardstock. Okay, you could do this one, look. And there's your card. How easy is that? Put a sentiment on it and just do the 2 branches with the birds and leave these gold flowers like that. But if it were all outlined in black, it would blend into the background a lot better. And I know I've seen lots of cards, and at first, when they first really started doing it, I thought, how'd they do that? Because they obviously can't color on black cards, they can't stamp an image and color it on black cardstock. And this is the trick. You color the white outline, and then it will actually even rub off while it's wet off of the foiling if you accidentally cover up some of the foil. Just don't get it on the tail like I just did. Okay. I accidentally got it over into the pink. Don't do that. You have to go slower. And then do your edge. Take the side of your marker and get those little white edges, and then it will totally blend. Does that make sense to everybody? That's the trick. And then make sure, how are we going to finish it? Obviously, we're going to finish it with some gold beads, something like that, some sequins. And another thing, it depends on what your taste is. I'm all for splatters. I love splatters. Sometimes it's hard to do it over top of something like this that's so pretty. But there's just a few tricks that some of the design team people do that really take their cards to the next level. Dimension with foam, doing things like this where you might outline it in a coordinating color to the background. Adding lots of texture and interest in the background, but not so much that it is something that'll pull your eye from the focal point. And going in with like some dramatic ink blending or dramatic colors. These birds don't have to be some traditional color. Use a different kind of color scheme. I really wanted to use the teal background, but I just decided it was maybe a little much. It was a little too distracting from what I really wanted to show you. But it would still be pretty, right? Those colors would still go. It'd just be very different. Hi, Jane. I know. I can't wait to craft with you. I'm so excited. Girl, there's so much. I was already going on and on and on earlier about, so many new things for the people who came last year. I do too, Linda. I like the black better. This one though, this teal would be really pretty in lots of other ways. The people that came last year, we thought last year was awesome. This year, oh my goodness, I just can't even with how awesome it is. Seriously. So, you guys, that's it. I'm done for the evening. We were using Pink Fresh Studio products that I've had for a little while, and I just hadn't gotten to use them yet. Thank you so much for sharing. We were talking about designer tips and tricks. I didn't get to share a whole lot, but just a few. I'm excited that I pulled these out. Ooh, I'm going to have to finish these cards because I think so pretty. So very pretty. I'm loving these. And Pink Fresh Studio always makes it so easy because that one piece die is it's a game changer. And then their layered stencils, the easiest layered stencils, seriously. So you guys, that's what's going on. I will see you. Tennis season has started, I have to tell you. So Gabe is, he's a freshman and he made the varsity tennis team. So we're really excited. But we'll have lots of tennis matches. As you know, I've been going live at 8 o'clock Eastern time Thursday nights for years, probably 4 or 5 years now, at least. So normally I'm on 8 o'clock Eastern time Thursday nights. Sometimes I pop in other times too. But you may not see me as much for the next couple months because it gets crazy in March and April for the tennis team. They have sometimes 4 matches a week. So I'll try to be good about popping in and telling you that if I'm not going live. That's it. You guys have a fantastic week. Thanks for joining me tonight. If you have any questions about anything that we did, let me know. If you use one of these techniques, make a comment in this same video and share your card. I love it when I see people kind of sharing some of the ideas and stuff, but do it as a comment under this video. Okay? I'll see you guys later. Have a great week. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.